Hello, everybody, and welcome to the NFL playoffs. As our Snowhawks into the postseason for the first time, we put together a 7-1 record post-bye week as we put together the hottest streak of any team in the NFL, as we have now advanced into the NFL playoffs for the first time in franchise history. We're here from Snowhawk Stadium. Not only did we win a playoff spot or clinch a playoff spot, we won the division title, overcoming insurmountable odds from 3-6, the third pick in last year's draft, to the third seed in the NFL playoffs this season. Our past matchup with the Green Bay Packers, we won 45-30, our biggest offensive showing of the season, as we look to replicate that here in the rematch. Although Jordan Love looking for better results, 2 interceptions and only completed 45% on over 50 pass attempts, as McDonald last time out, flawless, over 300 passing yards with 3 touchdowns and also an impact on the ground, as we are now here at the opening kickoff of the highly anticipated 2027 NFL playoffs, as this is the first game on the docket, as here's Matt Ariza on for the kickoff, is now underway from Snowhawk Stadium. Again, the first postseason action in this Snowhawks franchise. It was very bleak early on in the season, as a couple rookies there teaming up on the kickoff. Here comes Jordan Love, but it was very bleak early on at 3-6. I all but packed it in, but our team showed more resilience and put together 7 out of 8 wins coming out of the bye week, which proved to be what we needed. Jordan Love, a career high 13 interceptions, as he has turned the ball over a little bit here, as he looks to clean that up in this matchup. Christian Watson at wide receiver, 16 touchdowns, third in the NFL this season. First give here for Josh Jacobs, over 1,000 again, as he'll start with 2. Andrew Van Ginkel on the stop, 15 sacks in a contract year, as he absolutely exploded this season. Now Jordan Love, his first pass attempt over the middle for Watson, as that was just out of his reach. Matthew Torrance on the coverage, which brings up a quick 3rd and 8 now for Green Bay. Love from the shotgun, Jacobs to his right, as that was Jalen Reed in motion. Love, time to throw in the pocket now. Collapsing on him is Joey Bosa coming from the blind side. Another sack for Bosa, another one of our defensive ends here who have come up huge down the stretch, as we ended the season with 50 sacks as a team. Somehow ended up leading the NFL in sacks. And on the other side here today, Green Bay was bottom in the league in sacks, as our pass protection hasn't really held up well over the course of this season, but hopefully, being a weakness of Green Bay, hopefully we can stay a little bit more stable in that spot, as now the return is one of our reserve backs, Golston, as he'll work that to the 36-yard line. Here comes Lucas McDonald. There were question marks if he was the franchise quarterback, but he answered all those questions, put that conversation to bed, as he finished with his first 4,000-yard passing season. A lot of those interceptions in the first half, as he was at 1.7 touchdowns to 10 interceptions, and finishes on a 19-4 run or something of that nature, as he'll look to lead the Snowhawks to the next round here, as we're now in the Wild Card Round. First pass attempt for McDonald, and that's out of the reach. A wide open man there. I think that might have been Marvin Harrison Jr., as that was out of the reach for him. You got to hit that spot, and we have been spending a lot of our coaching points on improving our quarterback accuracy. And now here on second down, just got to get the nerves out, settle in a little bit now off the play fake. As now second read there from Mark Andrews, the one-handed snag behind his body, and he keeps in bounds to move the chains that time. Our first down in playoff history for our Snowhawks. Going to be a lot of firsts today, hopefully. And now from the 47, our first game for Bigsby, as he finds a nice lane. He's really heated up here in the final few weeks and has really took a stronghold of this running game. And now second and 4, we see Carlos Alvarez at the bottom of the screen, number 9, rookie wide receiver out of Florida State. Another gift for Bigsby, as he had a one-on-one there, tried to work it outside, but good help defense there by Javon Bullard, one of the young safety stars for Green Bay. He had strong safety, I believe, Xavier McKinney, the free safety. Now 3rd and 2, as we'll have a man open. That's Dontavion Wicks against his former team. That one for 15 and the first down. Wicks had a very good game in the earlier matchup back in Week 12, which really sparked our hot finish to the season coming out of the bye week. We were 4-6, and then Green Bay, that win really sparked our momentum as we ended at 10-7, just overcoming insurmountable odds, as I said. Now here at the 30-yard line, Wicks had a touchdown in that earlier meeting. Let's see if he can get another one here today. Now at the 30, first down, McDonald on the drop back. And now trying to evade the rush from up the middle, and he's brought down for the sack. We just mentioned how Green Bay was bottom in the league in sacks this season, but they get the early one this time as they stomp some momentum out from Salt Lake City. That one putting us back 10 yards now, is 2nd and 20. back to the 40-yard line. This time McDonald directly under center. We'll get for Bigsby as he shuffles the line and gets headed for 6. Some good action out of the gate, and just a heads up, we're not going to watch all of the gameplay in this one. We're going to mix it up, watch a lot of it, but also just mix in some normal sim time as well. As McDonald going to try to roll to the right, and again going to be sacked. 2 sacks already on this opening drive by Green Bay. That time Edgerrin Cooper, one of the top linebackers in the NFL, as that definitely puts us out of field goal range. Back to the 41 on 4th and 20 as Matt Ariza on for his first punt, as each side trades punts early on. And we've seen so many drives where we work it in to field goal range, borderline field goal range, and then just jump ourselves or backtrack ourselves out of it, as Ariza's punt there to the 15-yard line, as we have won the field position battle early on at least. And let's see if we can hold them back deep in their own zone. First down for Love, and he'll get for Jacobs up the middle, and a good tackle there by Torrance and Sexton. 2nd and 8 now, over 6 minutes into this game. Still scoreless here from Salt Lake City. Love now on the drop back over the middle. A nice rifle as he hooks up for his first completion. That one goes for 14 to Romeo Doubs, as he had a very good game in the last matchup. I think over 100 with a score, as he countered Carlos Alvarez, as our rookie receiver had 152 and 2 touchdowns. Hopefully we see him in this one, as Darius Robinson getting home and getting in on the sack action, as that's going to push Green Bay back 10 yards. And that's a big reason why I don't want to watch too much of the game, just because when we do the slow sims, we just get so much more pass rush, so much more sacks, as it does deplete the offensive gameplay, I think. And we did have a pancake there at left tackle. I think that was Joey Bosa getting buried, although he did have the sack on the first drive. And now 2nd and 20, as we are showing pressure, and we do send it, as Van Ginkel is going to get home. We sent like 5 or 6 defenders, and Van Ginkel gets home, as we already are now at 3 sacks, and that just goes back to what I just said, just so many sacks in the slow simulations. And now very, very far back there, 3rd and a couple miles, as it's 3rd and 28 for Jordan Love. In the pocket, time to throw, only 4-man rush down the field. Jordan Love has a man open. That's Christian Watson. That one is an absolute dagger, going for, I think, 54, if I'm not mistaken. A huge play, and that's Jaquan McMillan back there. Only a 4-man rush to our detriment, as he had a couple steps beat on McMillan. We needed some help over the top, and McMillan hasn't seen too much playing time here in recent weeks, and maybe that's why he lets up a huge play here. And that's a huge momentum killer for a defense that we thought was going to force the punt deep in their own zone. Now back to Josh Jacobs. A big hole opens up as he gets 6. And I think we'll continue this Packers drive, watch one more Salt Lake City drive, and then maybe sim a couple on each side as well, just to even it out a little bit, as Love now maneuvering up the pocket and does get ahead for a couple. Makes it 3rd and 2 now. A couple tight ends and a fullback out there as they come out in the 22. Tight end there in motion as Nathan Scruggs follows. And now they get for Josh Jacobs, running behind a block, finds a lane. Good vision there to redirect, as Matthew Torrance does get downhill and makes the stop, but not before Green Bay picks up another pivotal first down. Of course, that other one, what was it, 3rd and 28 or something of that nature, as now they are in the red zone looking for the first points in this game. Jordan Love in the pocket now, going to his left, and again going to try and run, and I can't stress my point enough, as that's already the 5th sack combined in this game, or maybe the 6th sack, as Joey Bosa has had 4 of them. I'm sorry, 2 of them. 4 of them from Salt Lake City, though. Now 2nd and 22. Are they going to do it again on the long conversion? As a very good help defense that time from Sexton, as Josh Jacobs was bumped into off the exchange, and Sexton able to clean it up. Now 3rd and 23. Are they going to do it again here from the 30-yard line? Or are we going to do it again with the sack, as Jordan Love able to maneuver away from pressure, and will eventually just throw that one away. As that brings up the 47-yard field goal attempt now for Tyler Bass, who went 21 out of 22 in the regular season. Will he match his missed total on this one? And he will not, as that's good. And the Green Bay Packers take the early lead here on Wild Card Weekend. And now in the final few minutes here of the first quarter, Salt Lake City facing our first deficit of the game. We did have a nice drive the first time out, did amount in no points, as a couple sacks did force us back. Let's see if we can get on the board this time, taking over at the 29-yard line. McDonald here from the shotgun, as Mark Andrews there in motion had a nice catch on that first drive. Now McDonald is going to find a man there. Dontavion Wicks again for his 2nd catch, that one for 8. Now at the 36, 2nd and 2. McDonald to give there for Vince Willis, filling in for Christian McCaffrey as he knocks a man down. And with McCaffrey, not sure what went on with him. He was supposed to return a few weeks back, but injury just lingering. As we hit the 2-minute mark in this first quarter. Now first down for Salt Lake City. McDonald will just dump that off for Bigsby. A flag, though, probably a hold, as Bigsby got ahead for like 6 or 7. And I stand corrected, actually a roughing the passer on veteran Rashawn Gary. So that propels this drive out to the 35 off the play action. I thought a lot of time to throw. Flings that towards the sideline. His man open. Mark Andrews inside the 5. Mark Andrews all the way down to the 1-yard line as he picks up 34. His second big catch of the day, as we're now at the doorstep looking to find pay dirt for the first time in our franchise history in the postseason. Very good poise there in the pocket, and he finds Mark Andrews just wide open along the sideline there in no man's land, and almost finishes the job, but not quite, as there's Quay Walker, former Packer, had a very good game as well back in that Week 12 matchup. Now at the 1-yard line to give for Tank Bigsby, and Bigsby finds the end zone, the first touchdown in Salt Lake City Snowhawks franchise history here in the postseason, and it goes to Tank Bigsby. He's been phenomenal down the stretch, as I said, big in that win against the Titans in Week 18 to clinch the division title and clinch our spot here as the 3rd seed, as the Snowhawks now up 7-3. And as I said, we'll now simulate a drive or two for each side and see how it goes, as now Green Bay is going to take over at the 30-yard line. And it's intercepted by Max Melton. No way. As we now have it in the red zone. And like I said, we'll just simulate and skip this moment. As I don't know if you could hear it, my cat is also sharing in the excitement. As now we have a chance to extend this lead. 17 yards for Carlos Alvarez, now first and goal at the 3-yard line. And we get the touchdown. 3-yard touchdown pass to Mark Andrews to end the first quarter. As our Snowhawks now leading 14-3. What a game so far. As now we'll simulate another couple drives for each side, and then we'll take it into the half. As now first down Green Bay, as they get 6 yards for Jaden Reed. 2nd and 4, they get 8 for Christian Watson. Now a first down into Salt Lake City territory. 7 yards on the ground for Jacobs. 2nd and 3, a 4-yard scramble by Jordan Love, which moves the chains. Now 5 yards for Reed, makes it 2nd and 5, and they get 21 yards for Jaden Reed. Now inside the 10, 1st and goal, and now down to the 7. And a -3, so it's going to be 3rd and goal at the 9. And they do get the touchdown there for Romeo Doubs. Would have been a great chance there for us to hold strong and force the field goal attempt. But they do get the touchdown. Now we have the ball back. 2nd down as we get 5 yards for Harrison Jr. So big play here on 3rd and 4, and we move the chains. Again, Dontavion Wicks, his 3rd catch of the day. Now 2nd down, and we get 9-yard scramble for McDonald. And now a 3rd and 1, and we move the chains. Again, another nice run there by Vince Willis. And now 3 yards on the ground for McDonald there on 1st. As now 3rd and inches at the 43, and we'll skip this moment, let this drive play out, as we're intercepted by Edgerrin Cooper, and that is not what we wanted, as Green Bay will take over now at the 45-yard line. Good field position to try and take this lead back. Some good action there in the normal sim speed, and now we are up 14-10 off the play action. Jordan Love trying to check that down. It's almost intercepted by Darius Robinson off the deflection. That would have been a wild play. We have not seen anything quite like that so far, as now 4:47 left in the half, and we are going to just take it into halftime and finish out this game, and this second quarter, that is. Now, I saw Matthew Torrance on the blitz, but was picked up as Love towards the sideline, gets that for Watson, but no leverage there to work, as he couldn't really tightrope. And now 3rd and 8 for Green Bay. Love from the pocket, backtracking. Going to be chased by Caleb Patton and Bosa. And again, we get the sack now backtracked all the way out of field goal range, all the way out of their own zone, or all the way back into their own zone, I should say. Back to the Green Bay 47-yard line. Caleb Patton, another one of our drafted defenders in this series, who has really been emerging, along with Jerry Sexton and Tashawn Gross at linebacker, Matthew Torrance and Dane Gilmore and Nathan Scruggs in the secondary. So looking ahead, I think we have like 5 spots maybe solidified on our defense, but we definitely need to add a corner this offseason, a defensive end, or 1 or 2 at least, along with a D tackle, as we're now set to take over at the 28, leading by 4 points, 4:03 remaining in this first half. McDonald on the drop back. And so fling that down the field. That's a man open. That's Marvin Harrison Jr. leaving some men in his dust. And Marvin Harrison Jr. all the way for 72 yards. He's been quiet most of the season. And he waits for his biggest moment to come here in week 1 of the NFL playoffs, or the wild card weekend, I should say. And it just absolutely takes the top off the defense. I think Eric Stokes, Bullard back there as well, as this drive just one play all the way to the house. And our passing attack is taking the top off this Green Bay defense, which is considered the strength of their team. They were top 5 in the league in interceptions, headlined by Xavier McKinney, Jair Alexander, along with Bullard back there as the extra point up and good. And the Snowhawks now leading by 11, a one-play, 72-yard drive, and you gotta love that efficiency. This game is quickly slipping away from Jordan Love, although you can get it right back within reach if you're able to get some points on this drive. Salt Lake City outgaining Green Bay by more than double to this point. 3:50 left in the half for Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs to make something happen. Not going to happen there, though, only 2 yards. Our run defense held up quite well in that first matchup as well. Jacobs had a good game, but all things considered, I think we did manage him pretty well. There's another incompletion there towards the sideline from Jordan Love. Nathan Scruggs just talking about him a bit ago, as he was demanding coverage. So 3rd and 8 now. I mean, a 3 and out. Obviously not what you want. You don't want Salt Lake City having any more time if they get the ball back. And now Love does have time to throw, and he gets that for Christian Watson working against Torrance, and that takes it up to the 46. Christian Watson, 16 touchdowns during the regular season. Outstanding. And now out in the I formation, give for Jacobs, as he gets 4. And now the last few seconds before the 2-minute warning, as they do call a play, didn't have to. Another give for Jacobs, which brings up a 3rd and 3 out of the 2-minute warning. 21-10 here, Salt Lake City. The Packers trying to get some late points in this first half. Make it a one-possession game, which a field goal does do. And now on 3rd and short, Love from the pocket. And that's going to be knocked down at the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure if that was Caleb Patton getting a pull on it, or if he just threw it into the offensive lineman, which we have seen quite a bit in this franchise. Definitely one of the nicks of playing with the AI. And again, we are on Madden 25 for now. I am going to start up a new expansion franchise this summer on the new Madden. Hopefully they iron out the kinks there, but I am not giving my hopes up. But I am kind of giving my hopes up in this one that we come away with the victory. Marvin Harrison Jr., 2 for 77, a touchdown. Had that huge touchdown on the last drive. I think what they say, that was 72 yards on the house call. And now a 2-minute drill going to try and be engineered here by Lucas McDonald, and it will not start out well, as that's Lucas Van Ness, former Iowa Hawkeye, as he puts a damper on this drive. Brings us back 9 yards, and now 2nd and 19. I don't even mind just taking this lead into the half after that. You don't want to get too aggressive and give Green Bay a chance here deep in your own zone for Bigsby now, as he finds a nice lane. Bigsby now to the outside up the sideline. Tank Bigsby breaking free. There's no one else there. Tank Bigsby's still going past the 20, past the 10, and that's 89 yards now to the house. What is going on here in Salt Lake City? Unaccounted for, but we'll count those points on the scoreboard. We're saying we want to go conservative, take it into the half. Tank Bigsby had many other plans there. Oh my goodness. Five defenders there giving chase behind, and his offensive lineman there, Ika McConwu, Ryan Kelly, giving chase, which just goes to show the heart and the chemistry and the cohesion on this team. My goodness, what is going on here? We dropped 28 in the first half, as that extra point up and good by Tanner Hayes, and I have no words for what is going on here from Salt Lake City. Tank Bigsby just casually breaking out the longest run in Snowhawks franchise history, not just counting the postseason. And now less than a minute for the Packers. Return there to the 25, as Jordan Love now 18-point deficit. I don't know if you have much time here just based on how things are going. They've been trying to work in Josh Jacobs a little bit, but time is slipping away, and I believe Salt Lake City also gets the ball at halftime, so you definitely need to work something here, and quick. Love now going to be sacked and fumbles, and it's picked up, I believe, Zach Tom. We send the blitz there. Jerry Sexton got home, and we're just dominating in all phases right now. Jerry Sexton broke out of a cannon that time, and Andrew Van Ginkel also beat his block there on the right side, although Zach Tom was able to pick up that fumble. Imagine we scooped that up and just took it into the end zone. My goodness, this game, just everything falling in place for us, which was not the case earlier in the season. Now 2nd and 23, and Love gets that off, and that is caught. And the Salt Lake City Snowhawks will call a timeout. 3rd and 19 all the way back at the 16-yard line. Love conservative there for Josh Jacobs as he's wrapped up by Dale Gilmore. Gilmore, the rookie out of Tennessee, first-round pick, had 6 pass breakups in that last meeting, which accounted for, I think, 85% of his season total or something like that, 80%. And now kick there, or punt, as that's going to be fielded at the 32, or fair catch at the 34 rather. And now 35 seconds remaining. Look at Tank Bigsby, over 100 already on the ground, in line for the single game record also in franchise history, aided by that 89-yard house call. Unbelievable. 35 seconds left. How conservative are we going to go this time? Going conservative is aggressive, I guess. McDonald on the drop back now for Carlos Alvarez as he breaks ahead, and we do call a timeout. Or no, we do not call a timeout, as the time is continuing to tick here, and then finally we call a timeout, so none remaining now. Now, first down to the 45, probably need at least like 20 more yards to get into Hayes' field goal range. Just stack it on, why don't you, if you're Salt Lake City. Now, McDonald, plenty of room to run as he's scanning his options. And see, I hate those situations. You have so much room there up the sideline, and you can just get out of bounds, but instead the AI just throws it instead of picking up some yardage. Now, second down, especially McDonald, of course he can use his legs with that 93 speed. Let's see if he can use his arm, though. And he cannot, even trying to get rid of it that time. Sandwiched between a couple Green Bay defenders, as we will just let that run into the halftime. So 28-10 here in favor of Salt Lake City. What a half it's been. Lucas McDonald just dropping bombs on the Green Bay defense. Marvin Harrison Jr. running all the way to the house. Tank Bigsby running all the way to the house. And our defense with 5 or 6 first half sacks. And I have no idea how to express the jubilation I'm experiencing right now. Of course, being the GM of this team, we'll say, as we'll take a look at the wild card round. And Seahawks sneak into the playoffs somehow. I have no idea how they managed to pull that off, as they're going to visit the Detroit Lions. And New Orleans does win that NFC South at 9-8 or 8-9, a very weak division, as they're going to host the Dallas Cowboys, the top wild card team. As I'm not sure who our next week opponent is going to be, but it's not quite over yet. We still have to finish the job. Up 3 possessions. We are getting the ball. So let's just kill this clock. Let's get Bigsby another long score, and let's take it into the divisional round as we've overcome an insurmountable season of being from 3-6 to the 3rd seed, and now potentially to the divisional round of the playoffs, just in a matter of 4 seasons. Not even a matter of 4 seasons, but a matter of weeks, as we totally rewrote the script of this season. And now here to start the second half, we'll watch the first drive for each side, Simma drive, and then see how much time we have remaining, as we are going to want to tune into the final few minutes of the 4th quarter at least. And there's Tank Bigsby, energetic, and as I said, definitely took a stronghold of that running back room in the absence of Christian McCaffrey, and I think it's all but safe to say he is our starting running back going into next season. Just broke free that time on the conservative run, but not conservative enough, I guess. And he did finish that first touchdown, of course, as he had a nice lead block that time from left guard Cade Moreland. And let's have some more of the same of what we experienced there in that first half of play, as we'll have it now at the 29-yard line. 3 tight ends on the field here for Salt Lake City to open the half. Darnell Washington and Tip Ryman, the extras. A quick one there towards the sideline that's almost intercepted by Jair Alexander, breaking in on that one. Not the best design, or not the best execution at least. I do like the design, but when you have someone like Jair Alexander, an X-Factor corner, don't want to work it his way. Now over the middle, as that is caught by Wicks for 5. 3rd and 5 at the 34. And McDonald over the middle has a man open. That's Mark Andrews, but he drops it through the hit. I think that was Xavier McKinney on the help. I don't know what the flag is that Andrews wants. A clean hit. Just got to hold on to it that time. Mark Andrews has had a great game. Set up that first touchdown to Bigsby with that big catch down to the 1. As now Matt Araiza, another punt. And he will get that one off after a couple double pumps, we'll say. A fair catch at the 23-yard line. And we'll take that result. Good net as Jordan Love, his first appearance here in the second half, trailing by 18 points. But his defense got the job done to start the half. They did what they needed to do. Forced a 3 and out. And now it's up to Love to get some more points, because 10 is just not going to cut it here. I know that's the number you wear, but you need a little bit more on the scoreboard, as they're going to start at the 23-yard line from the shotgun. And he will go on the drop back. As a man near sideline, Tucker Kraft, his first catch, as he gets head for 10 and the first. Total yardage 318 to 149 advantage Salt Lake City, but I think you could have guessed that, as now Josh Jacobs trying to get going, only for 3. Now 2nd and 7. And they will fake it to Jacobs this time. Love, time to throw, near sideline. One-handed catch, but he cannot keep in bounds. I think that was Jaden Reed, I believe. I get the numbers mixed up of Reed and Dobbs, but I think that was Jaden Reed. As now a 3rd and short. We have been pretty good on 3rd and short on defense in this game. They go for Josh Jacobs, and he's swallowed up there. No chance on that one. The rookie linebacker out of Arizona State, Tashawn Gross, a 3rd-round pick. And he surprised me when he ended up with superstar development, but we trusted our scouting department when we picked Tashawn Gross. And here he comes up with a huge play. Really got more reps down the stretch of his rookie season, but set for a starting job next year. And now on the punt, as after this, we will sim ahead a drive or two on each side. And that probably going to be fair caught, as it is, as Lucas McDonald and the offense taking over at the 15, up 18 early on here in the 3rd quarter. And again, we'll just go normal sim here through the key moments. -3 there for Bigsby. We get 4 back through the air for Bigsby, so 3rd and 9. And we are going to have to punt again here from our own 22-yard line. So now Green Bay back with it as we have to punt again. Not how we wanted to start the half. They get 12 yards for Watson. And I feel like their offense has been a lot better when we've done these normal sims. And now 11 yards for Kraft as they continue to move the ball through the air. Now on the ground there, 5 yards for Jacobs, 2nd and 5. And they get 6 there on the pass for Jacobs. Now 9 yards on the ground, so the last 3 plays have gone to Jacobs. And we'll just skip the moment. 2nd and 1. They get 4 yards for Love. And now 1st and 10 at the 14. Make it 2nd and 7. Now 6 yards for Watson. 3rd and 1 at the 5. A 3rd and short here. And a penalty on Patrick Paul. And then a sack from Joey Bosa puts him back to 4th and 10. What was 3rd and 1 turns into 4th and 10 because of the penalty and the sack by Bosa, as they're going to have to settle for a field goal attempt here, I believe. And that is up and good. So now 28-13 here into the final 2.5 minutes of this 3rd quarter. We'll sim another drive aside and then probably finish it out from there. 1st and 20 after a penalty by Ryan Kelly. We get 8 back for Bigsby, 2nd and 12. And actually 4th down. It skipped a play. It does that sometimes. And now Green Bay, another chance here. They could make it a 1-possession game. And another sack there by Van Ginkel, the Wisconsin kid against his hometown team. 2nd and 12. Now 3rd and 12 after a drop by Jaden Reed. But they get 20 back for Reed. He redeems himself, we'll say. And now 15 yards for Romeo Dobbs as they're getting very close now. 7 yards for Josh Jacobs. Now at the 14-yard line. 12 yards for Josh Jacobs. Now at the 2-yard line. 1st and goal. Incomplete. Now 2nd and goal. And they do get the touchdown there for Tucker Kraft. And they do go for the extra point. So now a 1-possession game here from Salt Lake City. And we are going to jump into this one now and play out the remainder, I believe, as Salt Lake City taking over at the 30-yard line. Only up by 8 now. This lead has dwindled away a little bit. Pass open over the middle there for Mark Andrews, though, gets 14. Some good momentum to start this drive. We need any and all points now. Just make it a 2-possession game again, please. I'll feel much more comfortable with that as 2 yards up the middle for Bigsby. Only the 9th carry for Tank. It seems like he was utilized a lot more, although I think he does have a catch or two at least. And now 2nd and 8. We will have that for Marvin Harrison Jr. He hangs on through some big hits as that one gets into Green Bay territory. 9 yards on the catch, his 3rd of the day. And now 1st down Salt Lake City to the 44 now. McDonald from the shotgun. As he will throw it over to the sideline there for Dontavion Wicks. Nice setup that time as he works up the sideline for 8. Good lead block too. I think that might have been Carlos Alvarez, the 6'3", 235-pound rookie receiver out of Florida State. Now on the drop back, McDonald just will check that down for Bigsby. Breaks the tackle, and that's just what we needed, moving the chains. I get so nervous on those like 3rd and shorts when we have the drop back. We're just so susceptible to the sack. And now 1st down at the 31, McDonald over the middle for Carlos Alvarez as he works ahead for 11 and the 1st down. What a rookie season it has been for Carlos Alvarez, drafted 23rd overall, one of 2 first-round picks we made in that 2027 NFL draft. And we also have 2 to work with in this upcoming draft as McDonald there fires a stray. I think that was Wicks, the intended receiver. And now 2nd down at the 20, less than 9 minutes now remaining. And we will just go for Bigsby. Working to the outside, Tank Bigsby, as he gets 5. 3rd and 5 now at the 15. I'm all for just running it. keep that clock moving, make it 2 possessions, and I think we're in good shape, but we are going to pass it here. McDonald rolling to the right now. We'll run it up the middle, and he's going to be brought down. Does get a yard, but no harm, no foul, as that's DJ Reader, I believe, long-time D-tackle at this point out of Clemson, as that will trickle us down now into the final 8 minutes of play. And here's Hayes on for the field goal. I think Todd Hayes or Tanner Hayes, one of those names here, from 31 to make it a 2-possession game. The kick is up, and it is good. Now 31-20 Snowhawks with just over 7 minutes remaining, as our defense needs to hold strong here down the stretch. Now back down 2 possessions. You got the job done last time, but you need to do it again if you're Jordan Love, one of the highest paid players in the league, and they're paying you to deliver in these big moments in the playoffs and get your team on to the next round. 7-3-2 remaining. Nice area code if you're familiar. Give there to Jacobs as he finds a decent lane on the second option, but still only 2 yards. About 3 yards per rush in this one. Usually a little bit better, as he was one of the few 1,000-yard rushers in the NFL this season. Now Love on the drop back, 2nd and 8. Over the middle, has a man wide open. Up the field now past the 50. Wide open pitch and catch there for Josh Jacobs as he works it into Salt Lake territory. And not much time off the clock here. The Packers already past midfield. And now they do go or fake it to Jacobs. Love trying to work out of the pocket, and he gets away from harm's way now past the first down marker, and he will slide down to the 34-yard line. I thought he was going to be wrapped up for the sack, but to no avail. And now down to the 34-yard line. Love now. Quick decision over the middle, but again knocked down at the line of scrimmage. And we'll do it again now, 2nd and 10. Love on the drop back. Has a man open, that's Tucker Kraft, as that gets 5. 3rd and 5 now. Do you kick the field goal here, or do you just keep trying to get the touchdown? There's now almost 5 minutes left in this game, as we do just hit it now. Now Love to the right, going to throw across his body. What is he doing? He had the first down with his legs, and I mentioned it earlier. When these quarterbacks have a clear running lane, they'll still just opt to throw it away. And now we're going to go for the field goal unit. Trust the defense to come up with another timely stop. This one from 46. Bass has only missed 1 kick all season, as that one is up, and it looked good, and it is good. So again, Green Bay makes it a 1-possession game. Almost a block there coming off the edge was Jones, as 8 points. Now the lead for Salt Lake City with 4:55 remaining. Again, let's just keep playing this game of cat and mouse. Just keep that clock burning and hopefully just extend that lead once more, which should do it, as we are going to take over now at the 25-yard line. 4:51 left on the clock, which separates us from advancing to the divisional round of the playoffs. And now 8 yards away from eclipsing 400, as McDonald making some changes at the line. Give for Bigsby. Finds a nice lane there. Tank Bigsby into the 2nd level as he works ahead for another 16. And now up to 132 on the ground, by far the most we've seen from a Salt Lake City Snowhawk running back so far over the course of this franchise. Trey Benson was our go-to back the first 3 years, but traded him to the Raiders this past offseason. As now McDonald being chased, breaks the tackle, and now moving ahead past midfield, past the 40, and finally brought down, not before getting, I think, 21 yards that time. And that's great to see him break that sack. I think we even leveled that up last episode. We gave +1 for break sack on quarterback, or maybe it was thrown under pressure. But either way, first down, and we give back for Bigsby. Only 1 that time. And now 2nd and 9 at the 38. Bigsby the lone back. And he does get it. Nice block picked up there by Moreland, but not enough. As now less than 3 minutes left in this game, but a 3rd and 7 from the 35. Not comfortable field goal range here for our rookie kicker. But if we can get a few more, or the first down, better yet, would be great for business. And now McDonald in the pocket for Mark Andrews, and he had to go back to that one. Ends up losing 3 yards on the play, and that's just disastrous. Those are the poor decisions that make you want to not ever watch the slow sims, as that puts us out of field goal range. Packers actually burned their first timeout, so we are going to punt it now from the 38-yard line, hopefully pin them back deep, as is not the case. Only a 14-yard punt there from Matt Ariza. What are we paying you for? As Josh Jacobs, 83 total yards, has been held in check on the ground, as they have run it a lot in this game, usually a pass-heavy team. but they try to get the ground game established in this one. 2:12 remaining for Jordan Love to tie this one up, down 8 points. Caleb Patton giving chase, and he tracks him down. 9 sacks in this game for Salt Lake City. Just absolutely absurd, and that's going to be an injury timeout now, as Jordan Love looks like he's nursing that left ankle, as that does not bode well for him. So who's the backup here? I am not sure yet, but 2nd and 24 now for the backup quarterback, working deep in his own zone. From his one, now trying to step up, and Van Ginkel now going to track him down for his 3rd sack of the game. And this almost is not even fun anymore at this point, as he tucks in the sword. And that's Justin Ware, former 5th-round pick out of Oklahoma State. I remember going back to that draft class. We had him favorited as a UDFA, but Green Bay went ahead and drafted him much earlier than that. As now, welcome to the game, Justin. 3rd and 28 out of his own end zone now. And he's going to be brought down for the safety, and that is going to do it. Bobby Brown III, one of the first additions to this team going back to that year 1 offseason, signed him as he was one of the first free agents to ever express interest in joining our team. So we brought him in, and he's hung around in a depth role. He's good for that big play here and there, which obviously he delivers right here, as this one all but done now from Salt Lake City. Or at least you would think, you would hope, in our case. On the safety punt now, Trey Palmer finds a seam as he gets that to the 39. Stick around after this game. We are going to check out our next week opponent and preview the divisional round of the playoffs, and also check up on who else won their matchups, as Tank Bigsby there for 4 as Green Bay burns their 2nd timeout. Now on 2nd and 6, Salt Lake City up by 10 points now. Back for Bigsby. And he will get ahead for a few, call it 5. Generous forward progress, I think, as also Marvin Harrison Jr. went out on the play. Not sure what the injury was, though. And now Bigsby to the outside on 3rd down. We'll move the chains as Green Bay burns their final timeout. Now just 100 seconds left, 100 ticks of the clock, and we're in the divisional round of the playoffs, which would mark 8 wins in our last 9 games, as McDonald now out in the victory formation for the first kneel down here. And now here on 3rd down for the final knee of this game against the Green Bay Packers, as our Salt Lake City Snowhawks have won here on Wild Card Weekend. What a ride it's been, and I can't believe it's going to keep going into the divisional round of the playoffs. What a story it's been. What a Cinderella story it's been for our Salt Lake City Snowhawks. Our first ever playoff game. We win 33-23, but we're just going to let Matt Ariza get another punt off here after that last one was just porous. Better result that time, down to the 12, but it doesn't matter, as our Salt Lake City Snowhawks victorious here from Salt Lake City, and we're probably going to have to play on the road next week, I believe, either against the Lions or the Eagles, assuming the Lions won their matchup. Matt LaFleur and John Gruden there at midfield for the celebratory handshake, more so in our favor, as a lot of big plays in this one, a lot of sacks, which is something we have to try and fix moving forward. Again, Lucas McDonald outduels Jordan Love and Tank Bigsby. What a house call that was earlier. His biggest game as a Snowhawk, Joey Bosa, was huge. Caleb Patton was huge. Adrian Van Ginkel was huge. Was there anyone that wasn't huge on our defensive front in this one? I think 10 sacks on the day, which has to be a record in the postseason. So either we're just that good, or the AI simulation is that bad. But we will take a look at the stats, as Jordan Love finished 24 for 34, 297, 2 touchdowns and interception. Very similar stat line here was Lucas McDonald, 256, 72%, 2-1 touchdown interception, and also 8.8 yards per attempt, whereas Love was 8.7. Now rushing the rock, Josh Jacobs just 20 for 64, averaged 3.2, and only 9 yards was his long, so we really did well to keep him in check, whereas Tank Bigsby, 89 was his long, 2 touchdowns, 17 for 148, 8.7 on the ground. He's got to be Offensive Player of the Week in the NFC. Lucas McDonald, a good contribution on the ground as well with 37 rushing yards. Christian Watson, the only 100-yard receiver in this game, all 7 catches. Kraft had a touchdown. Wicks and Andrews each had 5 catches, as Andrews also had that touchdown. Tank Bigsby, 4 catches for 22. Alvarez, 4 for 45. And Marvin Harrison Jr. had that huge dagger on a 72-yard catch, 3 for 86 and a score. I'm not even going to look at these sack numbers, just too absurd to even digest. And then double-digit tacklers was Jerry Sexton with 13, Matthew Torrance with 10, making a big impact from that strong safety position. 4 TFLs for Bosa, 3 for Patton, 2 for Pay, Van Ginkel, Sexton, and then sacks, 3.5 for Bosa, 3 for Van Ginkel. Just absurd numbers there. Max Melton an interception, along with Edger and Cooper. And the kickers were all flawless, although our punter has seen better days. And now here's the updated look at the playoff tree for our 2027 NFL playoffs. And we are set to have battle against the Detroit Lions as they took down the Seattle Seahawks 42-34, the highest scoring game there in the Wild Card Round. We actually lost to the Lions earlier in the season, I think back in week 4 on Monday Night Football. But that was a very low scoring affair. I think 14-11 the final in that one. So we'll see what we get in this rematch as we're going to be heading to Motown for a divisional matchup against the Lions. We'll take a look at the box score from that first matchup here shortly, but the top seed wins every single matchup here in the wild card round, so no upsets, at least based on seeding. Who knows what the actual spread or the game odds were, but I'm sure soon, with the way sports gambling and betting has been kind of pushed on the masses, I'm sure in Madden here in a couple years, we're going to have spreads for each game too. But now looking ahead at this week's matchup, we have Eagles-Saints in a 1-4. The Saints took down Dallas, the top wild card seed, 34-22, as I'm very surprised to see the Saints and the Snowhawks, the bottom two teams from the NFC last season, are now here in the divisional round. Eagles finished the season again at 16-1. I think that was either last season or the year before where they were outed in the divisional round. So New Orleans has a chance to complete a monumental upset, and if the Eagles again fail to advance, I mean, you got to start wondering if they consider a coaching change despite the regular season success. Of course, we have that road game now against Detroit as the top seeds here in the NFC. I would think probably like double-digit favorites, but maybe Vegas would give us a little leeway with the way our offense picked up our game in the second half of the season. Then going over to the AFC, Baltimore and Buffalo 1-4. We're really rooting for the Ravens because we have the Bills' first-round pick. So we originally thought that maybe we could have a top 10 pick from us and then maybe like the 20th pick from Buffalo, but now here we are set to have 2 picks in the bottom like 25 of the first round or so, but we have a ton of picks altogether, so a lot of flexibility to move up and down the board in the upcoming offseason, which should be just a few episodes at this point unless we keep this run going, which we hope. But Buffalo took down the Colts 20-7, and then we have another 2-3 matchup here, Houston against Kansas City. The Chiefs beat Cincinnati 30-27. And we will take a look at this one. Actually went to overtime. The Chiefs win 6-3, so it looks like Cincinnati got a field goal in their opening drive, and then Kansas City was able to walk it off with a touchdown. And then Houston took down Tennessee 28-14 in that in-division matchup. In the final week, Miami held that 7th seed, but it lost by 1 point to the New York Jets, allowed Tennessee to get in with a win. So Baltimore, Buffalo, Houston, Kansas City with a chance at the AFC Championship game on the line. And then coming over to the NFC, Philadelphia at New Orleans. And then, of course, our matchup, Detroit against Salt Lake City. And now here's the box score from our previous matchup against the Lions. 13-8, not your typical score. It was 10-0 after the first quarter. The Lions took control of the game. Then we got a safety actually there in the second quarter. We were down 10-5 at half, and then we just exchanged field goals there in the second half. So very low scoring. We only had 183 yards of total offense. They had 222 and 1 turnover aside. And the quarterbacks, Jared Goff, 202 passing, a touchdown and interception, 59%. Lucas McDonald, not a great game, 20 for 37, 1 interception on the ground. Though he did add 23 yards. Christian McCaffrey still was our back at the time, 59 yards for 3.9 per. And Jahmyr Gibbs only 11 carries for 47 yards. Probably going to get him going a little bit more here in the divisional round. You would think Sam Laporte led the way receiving with 6 for 92. Terrence Webster, the young guy out of Vanderbilt, first-round pick from a year ago, 5 for 51, also contributed as a return man. Really was causing fits in that game. Jamison Williams, the lone touchdown. That one went for 16. And now coming over to defense, Jaquan McMillan was still our slot nickel corner at the time. We've since relegated him more into a reserve role, getting Dale Gilmore more involved at the safety position, throwing Matthew Torrance in the slot. He had 11 tackles. Quay Walker had 11 tackles. And Brian Branch, 10 tackles, 2 for loss, a half sack, as he made a huge impact in that first matchup. Sexton, 2 tackles for loss. Malcolm Rodriguez, Aiden Hutchinson, 2 tackles for loss, a half sack. And he was the NFL sack leader at the time, and an interception from Sexton and Ennis Rakestraw Jr. And the last order of business in this episode, now we'll take a look at the Detroit Lions roster and just preview what we're up against in the next episode. So they have 4 99s here at the top: Jahmyr Gibbs, Aiden Hutchinson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Penei Sewell. And then a few more guys down the line here in the 90s: Brian Branch, Sam Laporte, Frank Ragnow, Terrion Arnold, Kirby Joseph, and Jamison Williams. So Jared Goff still is the quarterback. He's coming off a decent season now. Only age 32. I feel like he should be older at this point. Over 4,000 passing yards for the 6th straight season, 33 touchdowns, and completed 69%, which has been the norm over the course of this franchise. Either 69 or 70% has been the number for him in all 4 seasons so far. Jahmyr Gibbs on the ground with David Montgomery back there as well. A little bit older at this stage in the franchise, so not getting as much usage as he used to. Now receivers stacked here with St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and Terrence Webster, the second-year man out of Vandy, 5'11", 212. Only normal development, but he has had a nice season, and he has pretty good traits as well. And he had a bunch of returns against us, punts, kick returns, he does it all. Stan Laporta, maybe the best tight end in football. And in the last matchup, they actually were without Taylor Decker at left tackle due to injury, but he's now back for this matchup. Archer Quincy, a third-year man, 6'5", 343, an absolute unit at left guard out of LSU. I think a former first-round pick, or second-round pick from back in 2025. At center, Frank Ragnow. At right guard, Grant Barrett, superstar development rookie out of Washington, 6'5", 314. So a lot of size there on the interior. A late second-round pick out of Washington turns out to have superstar development, just what the Lions needed as the rich get richer. An absolute stacked offensive line here with a couple young guys at the guard positions, but both going to be among the best at their spot in a few years. Aiden Hutchinson, the 99 overall D end. How many sacks did he have this season? I'm going to say 15 or 16. As it was 15 on the nose, 23 tackles for loss this season, but 23.5 sacks last season, 24.5 in the first year of this franchise. Just absolute insane production at that position. Probably the sack leader over the course of this franchise. Right end, Jalen Redmond and Gerald Cumberland, just 75, 73 overall. So I think they have a 3-4, I would guess, based on the way it's formatted here. Ali McNeil, a good D tackle at 88, probably the nose tackle if they are there in the 3-4. Although the middle linebackers aren't that great, so they're going to have some deficiencies in the front 7. So hopefully we can take advantage of it this time with a more established running game. Terrion Arnold and Carlton Davis III, now a seasoned veteran. Very good starting corners with Rakestraw working the slot. Had that interception in our last matchup. And also first-round pick Titus McGill, a very good corner out of Pittsburgh, especially down the road, going to emerge as a starter for them. Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch, maybe the best safety tandem in the entire league, or at least the NFC. And also Deion Bones, someone we wanted to draft, but the Lions sniped us on like the 5th round or so. I think he has star development as well as he does. So Bone was a very good 5th-round pick for Detroit, someone we were targeting. Both teams in this game, though, do have rookie kickers and also a rookie punter for Detroit. So a little bit weaker on the special teams. And hopefully, that makes a difference. So hopefully we can win in all 3 phases, special teams included, as this is where I'm going to leave you folks. Thank you so much for watching. Absolute dynamite result here for our Salt Lake City Snowhawks, our first ever postseason victory, but hopefully we can build on that. It gets a little bit more difficult now on the road against the Detroit Lions, who have their fair share of experience in the postseason, along with an extremely talented roster, of course, already losing to them earlier in the season. But this is a different Snowhawks team that they saw now at this point like 4 months ago, as we have just grown, developed, and progressed beyond what was imaginable. So as always, everybody, thank you so much for watching. It's been real, and be well, and I'll see you next time.